Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Harris. I'm with Revolution Group, and welcome to our webinar, Working from Home Effectively for May 2020. So who's Revolution Group? Well, Revolution Group is three major divisions. One is the division that I represent, which is the ERP services. So what we do in ERP services is we offer two cloud-based ERP systems, which are systems that help automate your business process, manage your business process, and report upon your business processes across your entire company. So the two that we offer is NetSuite and NetSuite Cloud, and also Plex Manufacturing Cloud. Plex is for manufacturing companies specifically, and NetSuite's for any vertical. Secondly, we offer Salesforce services. Salesforce is a customer resource management, which brings in all of your customers, all of your leads, all of your opportunities, all your quotes, and follows your sales pipeline from beginning to end within your company. So we deploy that within companies, and we also do development in that area. And the third area is technology services. So if you're a business that might not want to have your technology handled in-house, maybe you don't have the skill set, and maybe you just don't want to have to handle it on your own, you can call on us to be your remote CIO, which will help you develop the strategy for your business of all the technologies that's needed within your business, and make sure you're staying up to speed with everything that's changing in the world. So enough about us, but let's talk about why we're experts in working from home. My team alone, a third of my team works remotely. So we are located near Columbus, Ohio, but a third of our group lives across the country. So I have consultants that live near Detroit, Michigan, Dallas, Texas, Tampa, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and we have people all throughout Ohio towards the Dayton area that don't come into the office. So when we're not at client sites, we're doing exactly what everybody's doing during this time period, which is working from home. We have to be effective for our clients and for our own sake. So we're going to share some of the best tips and tricks that we have, knowing what we know from working from home and how to do it effectively. So it's going to be interesting. I'll have my screen up here so you can see me talking, and then I'm going to have my PowerPoint over here. And as I'm going to show you different tools and different things, I'll just slide things up to the screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. So our agenda is going to be basically 5 things. One is setting your environment for working from home. So what are best ways to do that? Second is starting and ending your day, good ways in order to do that. Third is how to host remote meetings effectively. So whether it's internally just with coworkers, whether it's with your boss, or whether it's with customers or external people, how to do that effectively. Number 4 is task, time, and project management tools, which we use certain ones at Revolution Group that I'll share, and some of them I just personally like, so we can kind of talk about best ways to use that, some cloud-based tools to help you do things like that. And number 5 is how to stay connected. So during times such as this, we're all working in little silos. So how do you stay connected to your team? How do you keep in contact with each other? Good ways in order to do that. So number 1, setting your environment. Number 1 is comfort is first. So you want to pick a place in your house in which you feel the most comfortable. It doesn't matter which room that you choose. It doesn't have to be a perfect office setup. You just want to make sure that you're comfortable wherever you're sitting. So that includes something like an ergonomic chair back here, which is listed a little further below. But it also includes something like having a flat surface. So making sure that you have a place to set your laptop, or if you have a desktop, some place to put that, a place to put your monitor, a place to put your drinks without spilling them all over your laptop, making sure that you're clearing all your distractions. So if you have a bunch of papers on your desk or your bills that you need to pay, or laundry piled up in the corner, make sure you get rid of all those distractions that are around you so that you can make sure that you can focus on work and not get bogged down by those things. So we also mentioned the ergonomic chair, and what I mean by that is the chair might have arms that go up and down, It might have a lumbar support in the back. It might have rollers that you can roll around or casters at the bottom, and also is adjustable to be able to fit your body size and needs. I have a window listed. If you're able to have a window within your workspace, I just think it's very good to have. That way during the day, you're thinking about issues during the day, you need to kind of ponder something or work through an issue, you can just look outside and kind of give yourself a break, look at the trees, look at the street, whatever your view is. Also important to make sure that you have a good set of headphones. So the best kind would be the ones that reduce the sound around you, where you can focus. What are they called? The sound reduction ones. Anyways, making sure that you're cutting off the sound that's going around you and you can kind of focus on what's going on. The best would have some kind of speaking device or some kind of microphone on it. That way you can speak closely, and even if there's background noise going on, that people can hear what you're saying. Very important would be setting house rules. So making sure that the people around you are aware of important times in which you need to clearly focus and you can't have distractions. Especially for people that have teenagers who might be running in and out of the house, playing loud music upstairs, their friends are in and out of the house. It's very important to either post on the outside of your office the times of the day in which you cannot be distracted, or to at least have a conversation that, hey, if you see me with my headphones on, or if you see that I'm talking to the screen, please do not interrupt me because I need to get through my day. Lastly would be additional equipment. So depending on the company that you work for, don't suffer if you're used to working in an office with multiple screens and you have a nice setup at work. There's a chance that they might increase the budget for you to at home now also have an additional monitor. So making sure that you're as effective at home as you are at work with the equipment that you need, whether it's going to the office and borrowing or signing out the equipment, or whether they'll allow you to have a separate set of equipment at home, is up to the company, but they want to make sure that you're as effective as possible, so don't be afraid to ask them. The worst they can say is no. Okay, so let's talk about ourselves a second. It's really important to keep your same routine, and by routine, I mean times of the day in which you're working. So if you're used to getting up at 7 a.m. during the day, you want to make sure that you're maintaining that schedule. So it just helps you make you feel normal. You're not laying in bed until noon, rolling over and going over to your laptop, making sure you're getting up in the morning, that you're having your coffee, that you're eating a good breakfast, and that you're keeping that same schedule to make it still feel like you're just having a normal work day. Pretty basic, but also sharing those same morning routines regarding cleanliness. So making sure that, you don't have to dress in business professional every day, but making sure that you're dressing comfortably, but that you're, rotating out your clothes every day or so. You want to make sure that you feel refreshed, that you feel good, and that you're not just rolling out of bed and coming to your computer every morning, because it really does drag you down. That being said, you want to be comfortable. So if you're most comfortable wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, that's maybe what you have to do. What I like to do is making sure that you have standby clothing. So keeping something like a cardigan, sweater, or a jacket, just keeping it on the back of your chair. That way, if your boss calls or you have a client call that you need to jump on really quick, that you at least have something that you can put over to appear professional, even if your normal comfort clothes would not be that. Another item would be sure that you are testing your camera angle. So my camera is set up at the top of my laptop and is focused on myself. You can see myself within the screen. We've all been in meetings where maybe somebody's like way up here and you just see their mouth, or they're way down here and you just see their eyes, or maybe you don't see them at all. That's even worse. Making sure that you just have a test call. So the last one is test your audio or your video with a colleague. Just give them a quick call, making sure that your audio is set up, your video is set up properly, and they can clearly see you within the frame. I'll show you where you can see this if you have a Windows laptop or computer. If you go to settings and you go to your system and you go to display, it's going to show you how your monitors are set up. If you go to sound, it's going to show you what your output and what your input devices are. So if nobody can hear you, this is often the issue why. So maybe you plugged in some headphones and they're not disconnected. So this tells you where it's coming in, where it's going out. And a lot of times there's troubleshoots, so they'll test the volume for you. So you have your computer settings, but you also have device settings. So I'm within the Teams app here, and a lot of the apps will have device settings, which would also have something like what is your speaker, what is your microphone, and making sure that those are set as well. So let's talk about starting and ending your day. So again, back to that maintaining your schedule. It's so important to make sure that you maintain a schedule. Maybe starting a daily meeting at the same time every day will get you to be motivated enough to get going in the morning. Most of us are used to going into an office and getting a cup of coffee and maybe having a conversation with a coworker for 10 minutes just to talk about your drive-in, your morning commute, maybe something you watched on TV last night. So that decompression time is still really important. So when you're working from home, take a minute between, taking the shower, getting dressed, to before you sit down, maybe you do just, read the paper, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, look outside the window, just to give yourself a breather before you start the day. So I put ritual here, and I know it sounds a little strange, but a lot of times it's hard to work from home because the lines between your business life and your personal life sometimes are skewed. And this is because your day runs from start to finish without maybe you leaving the house or leaving your laptop or, walking away from your desk. So what I like to do is in the start of my day, I light a little candle. And when I'm done at the end of the day, I blow the candle out, and that signifies that I'm done working for the day. I now have my personal time. I can grab a glass of wine, watch a movie, go for a walk, whatever I would normally do in my personal life. Another start of the day that I prefer is 30 minutes of just focused time, getting through your inbox, clearing it out, and then also setting your daily goals. So reviewing what you did yesterday, what your goals are for today, and setting your pace for your day, and knowing what your outlook is and knowing what you want to accomplish. So during the day, one of the most important things is making sure you get up and move during the day. There are studies that say that the way that we work slouched over, we're sitting at a desk sometimes for 5 hours at a time, and it's serious to our health. So we want to make sure that we're standing every hour as much as we can, just to get your blood flowing, just to get your muscles moving, and to make sure you're setting your posture. There's multiple tools to do this. I'm sure many of you already have a Fitbit, which will yell at you about every hour and let you know that you need to get up and walk around and stand. Your Apple Watch can also be set to do the same thing. You can simply just set an alarm on your phone for every hour, just to let you know that you need to get up and move around a little bit, and it helps you refocus when you come back. One option is also to get a treadmill desk. So I actually have a second desk in my office with a treadmill on it. I actually got the treadmill secondhand from somebody on one of the marketplace sites for only $300, and then I got the table from IKEA for I think $100. So you can find some deals for people that buy treadmills and don't end up using them. And during a normal day, I could probably walk anywhere from 5 to 8 miles at a slow pace while I'm typing, while I'm in meetings. Okay? Lunch step away. As we mentioned about the coffee in the morning and getting some time to just have a minute before you start your day, I think it's so important to make sure that during your lunchtime that you step away and you enjoy eating your food and you have that time to refocus, and that you're not carrying your food back to your desk and just eating while you're working. So you want to put a line in your day, a break, a good break. If you can both eat and maybe go for a walk outside, I would say that's the best that you can do. Just try to break up the day, refocus, refresh your brain before continuing on in the afternoon. Another one that's really important is schedule shifts. So what I tell a lot of my people is if you have a period of time in which you don't have a meeting scheduled already, and all of a sudden, you know, we live in Ohio, so it's been a lot of gray with a little bit of sunshine. And a lot of times that sunshine just peaks for maybe 2 hours every day. You don't want to miss that opportunity, especially during this time where we are all working from home and not able to get out much in the evening. So what I tell people is if you see the sun come out, you feel like you need to go out and enjoy the day, just shift an hour of work later in the day and get out now and go for a walk and refresh yourself. It makes all the difference. There's nothing more depressing than seeing that glimmer of sunshine during the day, and then it's 5 o'clock and the sky turns gray again. So try to take that time. Mini tasks. So I'm going to show you later a theory called Pomodoro time, which we'll talk about a little bit later, that talks about being able to work for segments of time during the day with taking little breaks of time in between. And during that time, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, you can get up and take care of some of those distractions during the day. So maybe you really need to get some laundry done while you're at home. Being able to work at home gives you the flexibility to take care of many tasks during the day while you're working. So maybe you work for 25 straight minutes, 5 minutes you get up, you're getting your stand every hour, you're walking to the laundry, throwing in a load of laundry, coming back to work. It gives you some movement throughout the day and also lets you accomplish things that you need to get done at home as well. Last is snacks. So it's really easy to eat candy, which I love. Throughout the day, candy, chips, snacks, bad stuff that gives us a quick sugar rush. But really it's better to eat things like this nuts and berries mix, which gives you more of a steady energy throughout the day. I will say that I started the day with 2 of these and there's only 1 left. So you can't always follow your own rules. But I will say that making sure that you have healthy snacks around and that you're not just depending on those little sugar rushes that just end up crashing you throughout the day. Okay, ending your day. So I'm going to end the day the same way that I started my day by doing 30 minutes of focused email clearing. So what's going on, what came in through the day. Maybe I haven't checked my email since the beginning of the day. So those emails are going to let me know, either wrap up things for the day or help me set my goals for the next day. So then I can go ahead and set my goals for tomorrow and figure out what I need to do based on what's left over from today or what are brand new goals that I want to accomplish. And then the last thing I would be doing was blowing out my candle to end my ritual for the day, which is to let me know this work time is now ended and now I can go into my evening. Okay, we're going to switch focus now. We're going to talk about hosting remote meetings. So this is in the sense that, you might be invited to multiple remote meetings, but this would be when you are actually hosting the meeting. So you need to send a calendar invite to a client, maybe a coworker, or maybe even your boss. So some best practices on how you go about hosting a remote meeting and what's important. So prior to the meeting, you're going to want to send out a calendar invite. At Rev Group, we use Outlook. So when I'm adding a new calendar invite, I'll just do new appointment here. And I'll put a title in there. And I say from what time it is to what time. I can invite my people here to their emails. And what's really great is there's a conferencing software, which I'm actually using to record this meeting right now, called Teams, which is a Microsoft product. And all I have to do is click this button, join Microsoft Teams, and this is going to create a room for me and for anybody who's going to be invited to this meeting. They're all going to be able to join this room at the same time. When the meeting begins, we can screen share, we can see each other's faces, we can just talk audibly to each other. So it's really beneficial to use during Teams, and we'll talk about it in a little bit more when we get into the tools. And it also allows you to have a phone number in there. So perhaps you have somebody that's on the road or in a call that cannot use the visual conferencing part of it, but they can just call the conferencing number like any other conferencing software. So you're going to want to send the calendar invite. You're going to want to make sure you include some kind of conferencing software. If that Move that guy back down here. So remote session solutions. So I mentioned Microsoft Teams, which we're looking at right here. There are other systems such as Zoom and GoToMeeting. Most of these solutions you do have to pay for. There are certain ones called freeconferencecall.com, but a lot of those have restrictions. I know with the free Zoom, you can only have a meeting up to 45 minutes and then it ends. So just make sure that you're aware of what the restrictions are. But there's a good chance if you are currently using the Microsoft Suite, you're using Word, you're using Outlook, it might be just as easy to add Teams, which is what we prefer and what we use here at the office. Okay. Prior to the meeting, make sure that all the people that are invited to your meeting have been sent any materials that they need to use throughout the meeting, anything that they need to read prior to the meeting, and any agendas that you have for the meeting. People want to feel prepared when they come to the meeting to know that they can offer something based on the topics that are going to be discussed. Tools on their end. So if you are going to be using a conferencing software, just reach out to them prior to the meeting. Hey, have you used Microsoft Teams before? If not, can I help you in setting up a quick call to make sure the audio and visual works? Just to make sure that they're ready, because it can be very distracting when the meeting starts if nobody can get on the system. All right, and the last one is face-to-face. The reason I'm doing this here is I think it's very, very important to have face-to-face calls. It's hard to read into what people are saying if you just have a text conversation, and also hard to just pick on nuances of a conversation if you just hear somebody. So being able to see somebody's face, see if they're confused about something, see if they're happy about something, I just think it really helps with connection to be actually face-to-face if it's possible with both parties. All right. Executing the meeting. So here's some tips. Number one, start early. So we talked about people having issues with the conferencing software and making sure they're set up. So not only do you want to be prompt for reliability's sake, but you also want to make sure that you're joining the meeting early in case anybody needs help with getting set up. A lot of these systems here will have chat boxes where you can show a conversation and perhaps you can say, hey, John, I can't hear you. Can you hear us? Right? So that happens a lot in meetings, doesn't it? So making sure you start early, that way you can help out anybody that might have any issues connecting. You're also going to want to confirm audio and visuals. So you might just want to get started with your meeting and run through. But you want to make sure, can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? And if you're sharing your screen, can everybody see my screen? Just to make sure that everybody is on the same page as you, and 5 minutes down the road, you don't realize that people have not seen anything that you've discussed. Introductions. Make sure you go around the room, the virtual room, and make sure that you understand everybody that's in the room, their titles, their name, what company they're from, just to get a sense of who your audience is and who you're speaking with, and also do an introduction of yourself so that they know who they're speaking with. In the beginning of this meeting, I started with an agenda, so it's very important to people to not only know prior to the meeting what the agenda is, but a refresher. People go about their day, they're very busy, they're moving from one thing to the next, making sure you're putting it in front of them again, what you plan on going throughout the day. If you feel like the room's a little stiff, it's really a good icebreaker. So you can ask a question throughout the room. So I'll show you some questions that we use in our daily Connect meeting. But you can just ask a random question throughout the day, just something that you want to know about the people in the room. And you'll find that asking a question that's easy for somebody to answer and maybe kind of a get to know you question kind of opens people up and brings the level down to a little bit more casual. Okay, experience with topic. Along with the introductions, it's also important to get people's background on the topic that you're going to discuss. So, if you are talking about microbiology 101, to biologists, you want to make sure that you understand the level of expertise. So whether you're talking to, kids in high school, it's going to be a different audience than microbiologists. So you want to make sure that you understand the level of expertise to the people that you're speaking to make sure you're not leveling up the conversation or leveling down the conversation, that everybody's on the same page. Okay. Breaks are very important. Many times I'll host a meeting for 7 hours throughout the day. So not only is the lunch break important, when are we going to break an hour for lunch, but a lot of people need those little bio breaks in the middle, or they need to go back to their desk and check their email. So my cadence that I like to use is, say I'm starting a meeting at 9. Our first break might be for 15 minutes at 10:30. We'll break for lunch at noon, come back at 1. We'll have another break at 2:30 for 15 minutes and maybe go till 4. So breaks are extremely important for people's health, for people to be able to step away, and for them to get caught up on their day, so they're not continuously thinking about the things they need to get back to while they're listening to you. Okay, set the tone that you are open for questions at any time. And the second thing is pause often. So you want to make sure that you're actually providing a space for people to ask questions. And you're also telling people there are no dumb questions here. If you have a question in your mind, there's a good chance somebody else has the same question. And let's just get it out here. We want to make sure everybody has an understanding of the topic that we're talking about. So make sure that you're open, that you set the tone for openness of questions, and that you pause often in order for questions to be asked. And you can ask them, are there any questions at this point? How are people feeling? Does it make sense? Interactiveness is really important. So, having audio, having a visual, switching screens, kind of having an interest to the meeting is important. But you can also check in with that person, and you can have them share their screen for a bit of time. Just to make it more interactive, you can ask surveys, you can ask questions throughout the session, just to get people energized, especially if they're sitting for a long period of time. And then the last is feedback. So at the end of the call, making sure that you're checking in with the people and that they feel good about what information you presented. If they don't feel good, you need to get back to them and make sure that you answer their questions later. So ask for feedback openly. That also provides people the confidence that they can ask you anything at any time, and that you're going to help them, and they can trust you to make sure that they're getting the information that they need. So just simply ask, how did the session go today? Do you feel like you know more than you did before? Just getting that feedback from people. So then closing the meeting, we sort of beat this already, but just doing reflection and questions. So a lot of times I like to give a good 5-minute pause at the end of the session, let people kind of sit and think and reflect about what we talked about, and make sure that I give them time to ask questions. If you end the meeting abruptly, they're going to go back to their desk and they're going to think about 30 things they should have asked you. So always pause, give some time, tell them it might feel awkward, but we're just going to sit here and we're going to think about some questions that we have so we can get them answered now. We already talked about feedback, but making sure that you make it feel people comfortable and you reach out and ask them how the session went for them, what things they need provided. Maybe you spent too much time in an area, maybe you didn't spend enough time in another area. Another one would be go forward. So does this meeting mean we have to have a subsequent meeting? So what are we going to do? What's our go forward schedule? And set that up while everybody's on the phone. So most people are going to have their calendars in front of them, so it's easy to just get the next call scheduled while you're on the phone. And lastly would be email follow-up. So when the session is finished, to make sure you follow up with an email with any takeaways, which I guess I skipped that item here. What are the takeaways to the meeting? What are the to-dos? What still needs to get done? Who's in charge of what? So following up with the go forward schedule, following up with the takeaways, following up with the lessons learned. That email afterwards really summarizes, the topic or what you covered with the people going forward. All right, we're going to switch topics again. We're going to get into task, time, and project management tools, which I'm a total geek about. So this is super exciting to me. Okay, so task management. So we talked about setting your goals for the day, going through your email box, making sure that you know the things that need to get accomplished. So other than, jotting down on a piece of paper everything you need to get done, what are good cloud-based solutions that you can use to organize those things? That way, if you're on your phone away from the office, you can see those tasks or those goals. You can see them on your laptop. They're basically anywhere that you are. So I prefer to use something called Microsoft To Do. And I'm going to move this over to this screen. So Microsoft To Do is a to-do list. Okay, so it's just a list of all the things that I need to get accomplished. I can just add any task that I want, default task. I can put in when it's due, maybe it's due tomorrow. So I can manually add tasks. Anytime I flag an email in Outlook, I can have it sync to my list and create a task for me. So just flagging an email in Outlook, which I'll show you how to do that if you do not know. So if on my email, I want to flag something, I just flag that there and it's going to create a task. Usually takes about a few minutes to sync over. It's going to create a task here to let me know that I need to follow up on that item. I can have multiple task lists. So I'm working on a project in Smartsheet and about methodology with a coworker of mine. So we have a shared list and we can actually assign each other tasks, and you can see these little people here. It means that it's a shared list. This one here means it's just private for myself, but I can share lists with other people and assign them to them as well. This system can be fully integrated. So as I mentioned, I've hooked this system up to Microsoft Outlook in order for that email flag to come in. And I'm going to show you in a minute another software system where we can bring in our tasks to track our time. So very great. Another great thing about it is just the noise. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but when you're doing your task, it makes this really nice ding noise, which just makes you feel great knowing that you've accomplished the task for the day. I'm going to show you also. So we're doing this working from home webinar. If I'm setting my goals for the next day, I can flag this, add to my day, and my day is going to be tasks that I know that I need to accomplish by the end of the day. I can add reminders. So remind me later today at 10 p.m. that I need to get this accomplished, maybe next week, or I can choose a specific date and time. I can also add steps. So maybe there's subtasks. So maybe this task is actually 2 or 3 things. So each one of those is going to have its own subtask, and I can complete those as I go. I can add due dates, and I can have certain tasks repeat. As I mentioned with the sharing, I can assign somebody else, and I can add a file, and then I can type notes down here for whatever I need. So that is Microsoft To Do. Other systems that can be utilized is Todoist, which is also a cloud-based system. Many of you might have heard of Wunderlist or another task manager called Don't Forget the Milk. So Microsoft To Do, the benefit of that is that you can sync it with Outlook, and it's a Microsoft tool that might also be available to you, and maybe you don't know it exists. Maybe it's part of your Microsoft 365 account. So you can reach out to us to find out if that's true. But what's great is it's part of the Microsoft tool set. So that's task management. The next one is time management. So earlier I mentioned that you can split your day. Let's work for 25 minutes, focused, and then take 5 minutes to go and do laundry. So there's another app that I like to use called Pomo Done app. And Pomo stands for the Pomodoro method. And this method is a theory or a method. I think it's a method because it works, where you are working for 25 minutes of focused time with a 5-minute break afterwards. So the app brings in all of my to-dos from Microsoft To-Dos. Okay, so here's all the things that I need to get done. Let me show more. I need to find from my webinar from work from home. So what I do is I'm going to choose what period of time I'm going to work on this task. So let's just do the full 25 minutes. All I do is click on that timer. It's going to tick tock like a clock and run for 25 minutes. Once the 25 minutes is done, it's going to let me know. It's going to ring and it's going to say it's break time. It's automatically going to reset for 5 minutes. I can get up from my desk. I can take a walk, go get the mail, go put some laundry in, and in 5 minutes I can come back to my desk to start my next 25-minute session. If something only takes me 15 minutes and I'm going to switch tasks, I can do that and switch the task to something else. Done and switch. So it's going to switch me to a new task. So why put my tasks in? So what's really great about this app is not only am I time blocking my day, giving myself forced breaks to get up and to walk around, but Pomodoro also will give you a report at the end of the day to let you know. Let's see if I can get that up here. Might be in the web version. Oh, here's my daily log. So here's my daily log of the cases that I've used, and this is a test account, but it's going to show me how much time I spent based on different tasks that I've worked on. So your boss asks you at the end of the day or the next day, hey, what did you do yesterday? This log lets you know where you focused your time and how much time you spent there. Okay. You can also add let's go. You can also add a Pomodoro Chrome extension where now I'm on the page NetSuite customer login and I can start a timer directly from here. So if I'm just working on something on a web page, I can start the Pomodoro timer right there and it'll sync to the application as well. Okay. So other time management and task management systems are Toggle and Harvest, which are elements where you can put in projects, you can put in tasks that you need to work on, and you can track time against them. The best thing again about the Pomodoro time that I just showed you is that it syncs with Outlook. So again, it's that universe of Microsoft products where they're tied together and you can get to it from any device that you have. Last is if you find yourself distracted during the day, maybe you're on Yahoo News, maybe you're on Facebook. If you have distractions and you want to block certain websites for certain periods of time of the day, you can get applications such as Focus Me or Freedom, where you make a list of the websites that give you the most distraction during the day, and your Chrome browser will disallow you from actually going to the website during the hours that you said that you would not like to go to them. So if you need that extra push of zero distraction, you can use an application such as that. Project management. You saw my eyes just light up. So if you are a project manager or have to manage projects to do your job, we love Smartsheet at Revolution Group. So all of our projects are managed in Smartsheet, which is again a cloud-based web application that you can get to from anywhere. When we do an ERP implementation, this is the dashboard that we have for each one of our clients that tells us when the project started, when the go live date is, percentage of completion based on tasks. We have information about the product or the project. We have a list of my specific tasks, how to get to the customer's website, how many days prior to go live, and down here, what spells success for the client. So what we love about this is we create a project template in Smartsheet, and every time we get a new client onboarded, we copy this template into a new project folder for the client, and this is shared with the client. So the client can see this dashboard from their site and at any time know where we're at with the project and see real-time information related to it. So some things that we use on the project would be an implementation schedule. So we're letting the client know and ourselves know what are all the tasks and milestones it takes to get through the project. When do they start? When do they end? Where are we at with the budget versus actual? What percentage of the project we're done? What's the duration, and any comments? And also a risk. So if we haven't started it yet, is it green? Is it yellow? Is it red? We also have a list of all the meeting agendas. So we have cookie cutter meeting agendas that we have for every client. We have bi-weekly meetings where we stay on top of what's going on. We can also use this to add additional meetings as we go along. But we use the same tasks every time. So we have a external sales handoff, planning workshop, all these agendas in here that we can reuse. And again, the client can see this information on their side. What's a project without a task log? So we also keep a task log. So each one of these sheets has a different purpose with different columns, different colors, different rows. And in this case, what's important for tasks? What is the task? What's our due date? Who's the owner? Who's assigned to it? What's our priority? And do we have comments related to it? What's great about Smartsheet is you can put little comments on tasks. You can attach documents to the tasks. And anytime you assign somebody a task, it's going to send them an email to let them know they have something that they need to accomplish. So that's a little sneak peek into Smartsheet. What's great about it is you can share the Smartsheet with other people and assign a different permission level. So if somebody's the owner of the sheet, they're the creator, they're the ultimate admin. Somebody else is an admin, they can edit, delete, alter the document. Somebody's just a viewer, they can just see it. And then you can also make somebody an editor where they can either share or not share with other people, but they can actually edit information in the sheet itself. So many, many benefits to Smartsheet. They have a phone app. You can get to it anywhere you have a browser and always know where your project stands at any given time. Some other project management tools would be something like Asana, Monday, and Zoho, which are also cloud-based applications that you can find online. Our favorite Smartsheet, but you're free to go out in the market and see what's available. All right, so the last one seems kind of goofy, but is very important, is how to stay connected to team members and to people within your company during times in which people are working siloed. One of the greatest complaints from remote workers is not feeling like they have a home within their company, which creates all sorts of issues. People don't feel connected to the team. They don't feel connected to the company, which might create people not feeling loyal to the company or feeling a belonging to the company. So our company culture is very important to us at Revolution Group, and we want to make sure everybody does feel included and that we stay connected. So number one is don't get stuck. If you're used to working in an office and you used to just like hanging over your cubicle wall and asking somebody for help, you don't have that working from home. But when people get stuck and they're siloed, they kind of spin in a circle and don't know how to get out. So using something like Microsoft Teams here, where you can chat with other people, ask how they're doing, ask for advice, ask for help on what you need to work on, or just have a quick face-to-face meeting. Hey, can you help me out with this item? I've been struggling. Instead of feeling like you're on an island on your own. Back to the face-to-face. Very important, especially with your coworkers, to just keep that face-to-face contact, to be able to see a smile, to be able to see tone, and to know what's going on within your business. You can always choose a work buddy. So pick somebody that you normally would just hang out at the office with and check in. Maybe you check in twice a day. Just do a quick call. How's everything doing? Similar to what you would do. Hey, you want to grab a coffee? You want to take a walk outside? Just recreate that within your own atmosphere. So I talked a lot about Teams. I'm going to show you a little bit about Teams here. So within Teams, I can chat with specific people. So you see that I've chatted within the meeting. I can also chat with some coworkers of mine as well. So I want to just talk to Jeremy about something specific or talk to Carlos about something specific. This is an instant message system with just that person where I can talk to them specifically. Now I can also set up teams. So maybe I have people that I have frequent discussions with. So down here, we have a group called Quarantine Dinners, which is kind of fun. So our team members are spending a lot of time cooking food now that they're not going out to eat all the time. So we have a group just called Quarantine Dinners with certain people that like to share, hey, I made this for dinner tonight, share information. But on top of that, we also have teams for all of our clients. So certain team members work on specific clients. We have teams just for those clients where we can go in there and post information that everyone can see. So everybody's on the same page at all times regarding the project. So the teams part of teams is you can designate how many people would be in that group, what are the names of the people, and sort of permission down who should be able to see those certain teams. And then you can have multiple channels with different topics below. So you have both a separate chat, and then you have a way to group conversations into specific groups. Your activity lets you know what's going on with the company in general, anytime anybody was mentioned in anything. If something new is happening on a team, it's going to turn black to let you know, or bold to let you know there's something new that you haven't read in that information. It also connects with your calendar. So it's going to show you all your calendar items that have teams connected to them, and you can join your meetings directly from here. There's also a connection, again, back to this Microsoft universe. It's just so great to have these applications integrated. I can create a task for myself from within side teams. Somebody sends me a message, hey, Jen, don't forget to do X, Y, Z. I can go ahead and set up a task to let me know not to forget about that. And it also connects to OneNote, Planner, multiple applications within the Microsoft universe. All right, let's get back. Okay. So daily connect. My team actually likes to stay very connected to each other. We're used to being on the road with each other a lot, hearing about our days, finding out interesting things about each other. So we actually have a daily meeting every morning just to start the day, a quick 15 minutes, half hour, where everybody sees each other face to face, and we go through a question of the day. So it's kind of fun. We asked last week, have you been to your high school reunion? What did you think about them? Is there a skill you once had but now lost due to lack of time and effort? Tomorrow's question is, what is the hardest thing you've ever done physically? So we go around the room and answer the question. Everybody speaks just for a minute about their experience with the item. And then we talk about what our big goals are for the day to see if anybody needs help with any items, and just to, to expand that communication. But it's just something fun that our team does that sort of stays connected. Some of our people are working siloed at home. Maybe they're from, some other state and they've just recently moved to town, or they're isolating, so they aren't getting into contact with people very often. So it's a really good way to stay connected. And the last thing that we do, which is a lot of fun, is we have a virtual happy hour every Thursday. So Thursday around 5:30 or 6, when everybody gets done working, we end up on Teams, and we're seeing each other face to face, and people might have a glass of wine, they might have a beer, and we sit and we talk about our day, we talk about what's personally going on in our lives, and we share a lot of laughs, maybe more than we probably should. So that's another thing you can do just to create some fun and some connection with your team. All right, so let's recap our agenda. We talked about setting our environment. We talked about some good ways to start and end your day. We talked about how to host effective remote meetings. We talked about some time, task, and project management tools and how to stay connected. So as I mentioned before, within our services, we have our technology service, our ERP, and our Salesforce. So we offer cloud-based systems that help your company stay connected remotely, working from home. Cloud-based applications such as Microsoft 365, which will give you the ability to use something like what we're using here, which is Microsoft Teams, a conferencing software. Microsoft To Do, which is the way that we've kept our tasks managed. And then, as I mentioned before, we offer Salesforce, NetSuite, and Plex Manufacturing Clouds, which are other cloud-based ways to manage your business. Everybody's logging into the same system for the one single source of truth of all the transactions that happen throughout the day. So we at Revolution Group offer these products. If you have any questions about how these products work, how they can benefit your staff or your company, please let us know, and I'll give some contact information here. So my email address is jharris@revolutiongroup.com. If you have any questions about how to use these Microsoft tools that we talked about, or if you're interested in an ERP system such as NetSuite or Plex Manufacturing Cloud, or you're interested in managing your customers with a CRM software such as Salesforce, just drop me a line and I'll get you in contact with the proper and appropriate person. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today, and I hope you learned something. And I hope we found you a way to break out of your silo a little bit during this time. All right, take care. Thanks.